Alright people, so the topic of discussion in like the past month or so has been this Jade Helm. A really big topic of discussion actually. It was first put out by a military person, gave InfoWars the link to the document, and yeah, it's been really popular ever since that's happened. I guess it was public, but it was like you had to have like the specific link or something to get it, so it wasn't really public. I don't know, but now everybody knows about it. It's a big topic of discussion, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on Jade Helm. So it's not that much to read here, so I'm actually going to read the whole thing here. First page, it says U.S. Army Special Operations Command request to conduct realistic military training. Jade Helm 15. Alright, purpose. The commander of the U.S. Army Special Operations Command seeks a written invitation and approval from local officials to conduct realistic military training within their jurisdictions for joint military exercise. And it says, what is realistic military training? RMT, which stands for Realistic Military Training, is training conducted outside of federally owned property. The RMT process is designed to ensure proper coordination between DoD representatives and local and regional authorities. The process includes the following measures: risk assessment, medical and communication plans, MOU, MOA, and licensing agreements, which are training areas, staging areas, role players, legal review, ID of training, staging areas, role players, airfield drop zones, and landing zone surveys, letter of invitation obtained from local officials, mayor, county commission, coordination with local, state, and federal law enforcement, public affairs review. So, what really gets me is, how is training with local, state, and federal law enforcement realistic military training? I don't know. I'm not an expert on this shit, but it feels weird how they're, training here, inside of America, in the public. It's just weird, But anyway, then it says, what is Jade Helm? Jade Helm is a challenging 8-week joint military and interagency unconventional warfare exercise conducted through Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Utah, and Colorado. Jade Helm is a U.S. Special Operations Command sponsored exercise to improve the Special Operations Forces UW capability as part of the National Security Strategy. It will run from July 15th through September 15th, 2015. Participants: U.S. Army Special Forces Command or the Green Berets, Navy SEALs, Air Force Special Operations Command, Marine Special Operations Command, United States Marine Corps, Marine Expeditionary Units, 82nd Airborne Division, Interagency Partners. Exercise locations within Texas: Bastrop, Smithville, Big Springs, Caddo Lake, Caldwell, Christoville. I'm not going to read all of them. And then this is the thing that really irks me. The map here, which lists, I know this is black and white, but if you could see, it lists, California, or the southern part of California, Texas, and Utah as hostile areas. Now, we all know that Texas is a very conservative state, and I do believe Southern California is also a conservative area. So, it's very weird how they're, listing one of the most conservative states, Texas, pro-Second Amendment, shit like that, as hostile. Are they preparing to take over? Now, I'm not saying they're going to take it over right now, but are they preparing to take over Texas? Are they trying to condition people or the military that Texas, being a pro-Second Amendment state is bad, or conservatism is bad? Why Texas? The U.S. Special Operations Command has conducted numerous exercises in Texas because Texans are historically supportive of efforts to prepare our soldiers, airmen, Marines, and sailors to fight the enemies of the U.S. To hone advanced skills in military and interagency, we require large areas of undeveloped land with low population densities with access to towns. The proposed areas offer the conditions conducive to quality training because of real obstacles to challenge Joint and IA personnel during plan and execution of their tasks. These challenges include operating outside the normal support mechanisms, adapting to unfamiliar terrain, social and economic conditions, operating in and around communities where anything out the ordinary will be spotted and reported. Locals are the first to notice something out of place. The opportunity to work with civilians to gain their trust and understanding of the issues. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, it's hard to prepare to fight the Middle East. You know, that's the war we're in right now, right? Or I guess Russia, you could say too. You know, you don't. How do you fucking prepare, you know, to fight in the Middle East or fight, you know, in Russia by training in U.S. cities, which is a totally different environment than what's in the Middle East or what's in Russia, you know? And the difference is we're not fucking terrorists, you know? So, I mean, it seems pretty weird how they would be prepping to train, you know, here, you know, inside our cities. You know, it's just weird. And then it says, the last one says, the opportunity to work with civilians to gain their trust and an understanding of issues. So what does that mean by gain their trust? You know, it's, you know, gain their trust of what? A takeover of, you know, America, disarming the people. What? You know, what are they going to fucking do? You know, I don't know. It's just very startling how the troops are going to be just wandering around and, you know, in public. You know, it seems like America now, we don't have posse comitatus, which limits the military involvement inside, inside our country. And why don't they just train on the fucking bases, you know? I mean, again, I don't see how training inside American cities is going to prepare people for fighting a war, which has a totally different environment. Jade Helm impact on the area. Over 1,200 service members will participate in Jade Helm 15 throughout Texas, to include the training unit, operational support personnel, and opposing force personnel. Anticipate minimal physical impact on given area due to the large area of operations. Funding identified for this portion of the exercise will go straight into the economy in the way of supplies, food, fuel, lodging, and services for the exercise participants. Estimated economic impact of Jade Helm is approximately $150,000 into the local economy. You know, that's weird. You know, they're saying, oh, this is great for the economy. I mean, that's fucking weird. You know, taxpayers are going to be paying for this. So the money's going, I guess, right back into the economy if you want to put it like that. But, I mean, this isn't going to benefit the economy or anything like that. What to expect: increased military presence, increased aircraft in the area at night, may receive noise complaints. Some individuals may conduct suspicious activities designed to prepare them for complex environment overseas. Local LEOs are fully aware of the exercise. Local footprint will be 60 to 65 personnel. Personnel may be carrying weapons with blank ammo. Some participants will be wearing civilian attire and driving civilian vehicles. So again, this really startles me here, because it's like, you know, there's going to be aircraft flying around making loud noises at night. You know, people dressed up in civilian attire, you know, trying to blend in with society, I guess. You know, people carrying weapons without ammo. What else here? Suspicious activities, you know, being done. You know, it's weird, again, how they're doing this inside of America. You know, it's almost like they're conditioning us to have military on the streets, like this is a normal thing, like it's all right to do that. And as they said, they're going to try, back, I believe it was on page 7, to work with civilians to gain their trust. So are they trying to condition us to have military on the streets in a police state, you know? Safety measures. Safety for civilians and exercise participants is our #1 priority. Yeah, right. Daily communications between DOD and LEA. Medics located with each element. Coordination with life flight and local medical facilities. Exercise support team with communications. Clear marking of exercise participants. use of keywords to determine exercise participation, thorough risk mitigation assessment, coordination with local residents, verbal and written, fire conditions reviewed prior to each scenario, fire extinguisher and other equipment located at each site. Public Affairs Office will make public announcement regarding exercise. So that's the document, and this one's very fucking weird here. This is a logo, you know. It says, Jade Helm, master the human domain. Alright, so what is the human domain? Well, I actually pulled up an article right here on the defense.gov, and it was article here or whatever by Claudette Rouleau, and I highlighted this part right there. So let me just read what the human domain is. The human domain encompasses the totality of the physical, cultural, and social environments that influence human behavior, he explained. Success in the domain won't be achieved by traditional ground, naval, or air forces. So this guy saying that is Mick Raven, I guess is his name. I don't know who the fuck that is. I'll look this guy's name up actually. But I mean, so in a DoD news article here, I mean it's basically saying that that's what the human domain is. So here, Navy Admiral. So that's a Navy Admiral. So it's very fucking weird again and spooky how they're saying we have to master the totality of physical, cultural, and social environments that influence human behavior. It's very freaky. And Greg Abbott, the Texas governor, came out and said he's deploying National Guard to protect constitutional rights of the citizens. Good for him, because I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in this document here for people's rights to be infringed. So it's very logical. And then people are, alarmed about this, speaking out against it, very alarmed that there's going to be a military presence, loud noises, people with guns, blank ammo guns, I guess. Very freaky, that this is taking place. And people are rightly justified in being alarmed here. They're just questioning it. And then people are like, oh, they think martial law is coming. No, that's so, this is so, the mainstream media has tried to turn us into conspiracy theorists by, just questioning the legitimacy of this operation here. They're trying to say, oh, you conspiracy nuts think martial law is coming. Every fucking mainstream media article that I've seen on this for the most part is, conspiracy theorists think martial law is coming. No, we don't fucking think that. I've never fucking said that. Most people who are alarmed about this never said that, or at least a lot of them. All we're saying is, this guard, and Ted Cruz was saying, I understand why Americans are concerned about this when you have a government who's been, corrupt for fucking 6 years. And that's a good point. How can you fucking trust this government? And I'm watching a news clip on ABC, and they're like, yeah, it's good to have a good mistrust and a good questioning of government. But the military, why would you question the military? The fucking government runs the military, jackass or idiot. Dumbass is the right word, dumbass. I mean, come on, this is so. The media is just, just spinning this story, which also makes me concerned. So a lot of red flags about this. I see people saying, oh, it's going to be martial law or whatever. And it's hard to really tell what the severity of this operation is going to be until it happens. So we'll see. Once it happens, what's going to happen or whatever. But I mean, I'm definitely concerned about this, and if there's one, there has to be more of these happening. So I mean, I'm very concerned with troops in the streets. Very concerned, with all this shit that's going to go on with Jade Helm. So again, we'll have to wait to see. And I am a concerned American about it. Do I think martial law is going to come? No, I think that in a way we kind of already are in martial law, because a lot of people's free speech is being restricted. The Second Amendment's being restricted. So in a way we are already in martial law. But I don't think this is going to be used to implement full-on martial law. I think it could be used to condition the public, condition the military, etc. But I don't see real martial law really coming. I don't see Nazi Germany martial law coming like right now, but it's possible, I guess. But I see that maybe happening more down the future. But I mean, we'll have to see. And I am definitely concerned about this. And good for Greg Abbott for deploying the National Guard. Good for people like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz for speaking out, kind of against this thing. And yeah, I mean, it's great that this has become a national news story and more people are becoming concerned about it. Because you should be concerned about troops, operating in the streets, in public, because that's what happens in a tyrannical regime like fucking the Nazis or USSR, especially with the Nazis. I mean, the Gestapo, and troops marching along the streets. I mean, we all know about that. So I mean, we definitely have to be careful about giving the government too much power, and we have to keep a close eye on them to make sure that, shit like this doesn't happen and our rights aren't infringed and martial law isn't instituted. So there you go, people. There are my thoughts on Jade Helm. Definitely something to look out for. We'll have to see what's going to happen with this. So, but it's good that this is becoming a national news story. Good job to everybody who's questioned it and, is keeping a close eye on the government. So there you go, people. There are my thoughts on Jade Helm.